I wanted to make a few comments. There were a number of comments on both sides of the microphone concerning the governance change and how critical it is to our discussions. I hope this evening that at least members of the council will not hang their hat too heavily on the hook of governance change and so-called protections for the citizens of Burbank. The reference was made to AB 1217. I'd like to just share with the members of the public and the Airport Authority and the council an excerpt from a June 15th letter from the League of California Cities in opposition to AB 1217, and it concerned changing state interfering with governance rules of a JPA in Orange County. This is what the League said, quote, AB 1217 is a profoundly disturbing precedent in attempting to undermine provisions of existing law and unilaterally overrule a locally agreed upon governance structure that is part of a valid and voluntary formation agreement of a joint powers authority, an entity that by definition has no relation to matters of statewide concern. This is a local matter best resolved at the local level. State intervention in such a matter is therefore unjustified. Maybe unjustified. I think there was a reference to hell before about the procedures and due process, but no justice. Well, what one of the speakers said, Mr. Paroli, this evening is true. What the big boy giveth, the big boy can taketh away. And the fact of the matter is that we need to look very carefully at what governance means, because we're talking about giving away easements. Giving away easements is relinquishing something that's irrevocable and permanent. Governance protections can disappear overnight, depending on how the law may change. Now, once again, I want to emphasize why this term governance needs to be looked at very carefully. I asked the questions, and thankfully Mr. Wiggins affirmed the answer as yes. The same structure that is referred to as a veto power for the city of Burbank can totally change a project based on 2 votes of 2 commissioners. And if we don't have a Mr. Wiggins as mayor to call a special meeting on a Sunday to threaten the commissioners with removal, guess what? 7 points as enumerated by former President Madison. Those 2 votes of the 2 commissioners, along with 2 votes of the Pasadena-Glendale, it could increase the number of commercial airline passenger gates above 14 and possibly create a remote parking positions for carrier aircraft. It's right in there. Could improve an expansion of the existing terminal or the new terminal. It could amend the authority's noise rules. These are the supposed protections with the governance. It could amend the authority's voluntary curfew. It could abandon support for the legislative mandatory curfew process going on. It could allow them to acquire real property. And it could approve airport management contract or lease with exceeding 35 years. These are supposed to be protections. My claim is, my concern is, whatever discussions are had, whatever agreements are reached, we need ironclad protections for the people of Burbank. That's not a negotiable position. We can discuss the size of the terminal, the locations of the terminal, the need for the terminal, all of that. We can do due diligence and environment, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is, for this representative, we need secure protections for the people of Burbank if we are going to agree, either before a Measure B vote, after Measure B vote, whatever the process allows. It has to take that into consideration. And one more point. For almost 18 months, this entire process was done behind closed doors. Right here and now, this is the type of procedure that needs to be happening. We need to be out in the open as much as we can. There are certain requirements for negotiations of certain properties. We need to have the people engaged and involved. The airport's whole development was based on a visioning process. Visioning occurs in daylight, not behind closed doors. So I welcome this opportunity for a meeting this evening. I welcome the public's participation and input. I think we've received very good comments. I don't mean to be discouraging in my comments. I just mean to say that before I'm ready to sign away anything and be prepared, we need to have everything solidly down on the table, carefully negotiated, supported by legal authority, and then we can move forward and have the voice of the people weighed in. Thank you.
Thank you.